very beginning for me was in '60, was 15 years before. I started playing with Lou Bennett, and we were opening up for Thelonious Monk in '61 already. I was playing with Billy Brooks, with Lou Bennett, a black organ player from Baltimore, and he was playing with Kenny Clarke in Paris, and he came to Brussels. And Lou Bennett came to Brussels without Kenny Clarke, and he hired me when I was 17, and I made tours in Europe when I was still at school. So I started playing, in fact, in public in the '60s, but not as a jazz rock guitar player, but really as a jazz guitar player. That's where I started. I'm just saying this because I didn't start in '75, you know? No, but I mean, some people think that I'm a jazz rock guitar player who went to jazz. It's not really true. I started playing jazz with black American musicians most of the time, with drummers like Billy Brooks, Edgar Bateman, Lou Bennett, and some others. But in '75, '74, I made this record with Paolo Michelborg, Charlie Mariano, Jasper Van Toff, September Man it's called, with John Lee and Jerry Brown on drums. Jerry Brown became the drummer now of Stevie Wonder many years afterwards. And I was touring with John Lee and Jerry Brown on one side, and I was touring also with Jasper and Charlie Mariano on another side. And I made some records as part of Pork Pie with Charlie and Jasper, and I made records on WAA with John Lee, Jerry Brown, Paolo Michelborg, and all that. And then I made another one called Guitars in '75. I was doing many things in '75, and I was also recording with Billy Higgins and Dexter Gordon in '75. So it was a very special year, and I started playing with Larry Coryell also in duo in '75. So '75 was the year of the birth of my first child also. It was like and '75 was a very good year for wine too, for Bordeaux, yeah. Django is, of course, a completely genius musician, you know. And it's Mingus said that one day, and it sticks like an etiquette for me, you know. But it's true that I've always loved, and still today, I still love Django, and it's like always a big surprise to hear his lines. He's such a great improviser, maybe one of the best improvisers who ever played on guitar. It's incredible. For me, music has always been something very, at the same time, very serious. Not to be taken too seriously too, but something very serious and something. I like interplay between musicians. You know, musicians can play at the same time, but maybe not play together. You know. Well, you know, if you listen carefully to Django and you listen carefully to John Coltrane, or you listen, well, jazz rock, I would not talk about jazz rock, but if you listen to Django solos and to Coltrane solos, it's in the same family. It's not only jing-jing. People associate Django with something very strange today, but it was very deep and very modern. And my influences come from black American swing music, like from the time of Miles Davis. These are the big influences on me. You know, the rhythm sections of Miles Davis, you know, with Paul Chambers, Wynton Kelly, Philly Joe. these are really things which influenced me a lot. Because it's not only Django, it's many other things too, you know. I remember what Tom Harrell said one day. Man, when I'm practicing the trumpet, I am not composing. And when I'm composing, I'm not practicing the trumpet. That's a little bit the same for me. Except that I like to make my solos, not compositions, because that would be a little pretentious, but nevertheless, I try to make my solos. When I listen to them after, I like them to be like a composed melody. I'm not succeeding that, but that's my goal, let's say. So it's like an eternal composing process. But to really answer your question, I need a lot of time to write a tune, and I do it in many different ways. Every tune has a different method. Like sometimes I start thinking about some harmonies, then I write a tune on top, or I start with rhythms, just rhythms, you know, and make a melody after that, and then make the chords. Or I work with a computer, or I work with a tape machine. Before I used to work with tape machines, or I take a pencil, or with my loop machine. Now I have a loop machine. It depends. I can do it in many different ways, and I can do it in an intellectual way or with my heart. But usually it's both together.